Welcome, dear listener, to Spirituality in the Brain. I am Vanessa Anceloni, your host, and this segment is all about the latest findings of neuroscience with the teachings of Spiritism. Today we're going to talk about the bond between mother and baby. In the journal Frontiers in Psychology, in the year 2013, scientists have presented the reasons why a mother feels pleasure when smelling the scent of a newborn baby. According to scientists Johannes Frasnelli and collaborators, the study encompassed the effect of a newborn smell in the brain. So they did an experiment scanning the brains of women who had children and women who didn't have children. While the women were in a brain scanner, the scientists presented them with either the scent of a newborn baby or just fresh air. While all the women reported that the newborn scent was pleasant, there was a difference on the brain scans between the new moms and the women who had never had a baby. As soon as the newborn scent was detected, the pleasure centers of all the women sparked, but in the new moms, they light much brighter. Well, Dr. Frasnelli explains, we've most likely evolved to respond that way because the birth of a baby shakes up the world of any parent. A mother with her first child goes from living life in a couple to all of a sudden having to care for a little human being who cries whenever it wants and whom you have to clean up after. It's a big disturbance. It could be seen as something unpleasant, says Dr. Frasnelli, and yet most parents get pleasure from it. Researchers in this study haven't looked at the impact of newborn scents on dads, but Frasnelli suspects fathers' brains will also react. She says, from my personal perspective, the body odor of babies is something also I like a lot. When you cuddle and get close to them, babies smell very good. It makes perfect sense that we are programmed to respond to a baby scent in this way, says another psychologist, Dr. Diane Sanford, who is the co-author of the book, Life Will Never Be the Same, The Real Mom's Postpartum Survival Guide. And she says, for those first few months, baby are mostly just needing to be cared for, and we don't get much positive feedback from them. So the fact that the pleasure centers are activated makes it more rewarding at a time when parenthood is very intensive and depleting. Our little receptors are lighting up, and we have good feelings to offset all the hard work and exhaustion. It's great that babies start smiling when they are a couple of months old, when most parents are worn out and not much is coming back to them. Then the kid smiles and oh my gosh, it's the best thing in the world. Sanford suspects that something switches on during pregnancy and delivery, which would explain why the brains of new moms sparked so much more brightly than those of women who had never had a child. Here is science, dear listener, telling us some of the evidence that the bond between mother and baby is biological. In the teachings of Spiritism, question 384 of the Spirits book, we have a partial teaching of the spirits here that could be bridged up into this evidence of science. When Kardec asked the spirits, why are a child's first expressions those of crying? To incite the mother's interest and ensure the care it needs. Don't you understand that if it only expressed joy while still unable to speak, few would be concerned about its needs. Therefore, you ought to admire the wisdom of providence in everything. There we go, the wisdom of Spiritism, telling us before science, at the vanguard of science, the reasons why, the cause of such events. Babies cry quite a lot in the first months of their life, and there is not much of a positive feedback apparently for parents, but parents really feel connected to that need of babies, either the crying or the scent that they have. And as the spirits explain, it should be that way so parents keep focused on caring for their babies. Because if babies really were all smiley and quiet, parents would forget about them. Or, if not forget, they would not be truly focused on the baby's needs. So, here we have, dear listener, science investigating 150 some years later why things happen the way they are between a mother and a child, and Spiritism explained it a while ago, and now science is bringing us the evidence. Well, this is it for today, dear listener. If you have any question or suggestion, please write to us at cardiacradio.com. We have a contact form. We'll be happy to listen from you. In the meantime, keep feeling the blessings of God.